First, okay. Yeah, so if you see this plus, it means we are grouping. And we are grouping in order of importance. So the one, we say the one that is highest, the first one is usually the one that is given the higher priority. So you'll see our January is given a higher priority. If I click the plus, it will open now with each day separately for the entire month. So for older versions of Excel, they didn't have that group function. So you would usually find them, it would come like this. So we said once you click on it, on the pivot table analyze, we have this option of either group selection or ungroup. Now I want to ungroup mine. You can see what it has done. It has now just opened it. We get days, moja moja, the way it was hidden, 1 1. Then I can also select it again. Once you hover over, you get that black arrow. Let me see here. In this black arrow, it's supposed to highlight for me the entire, yeah, like that. And then I come back to the same and I say, I want to group it. How do I want to group it? I want to group it by month. We had it as months. Let's now try group it as quarters and see it will just be 1 quarter because it's January to March. You see? So it groups for you. If we had more groups, let's say we had April, May, June, and such, it is going to do the same. Let's ungroup. It goes back to days. Then I come back, highlight it, and then I can group the selection. If I want to group it now with month, I just select group with months, and now we get the grouping with months as it was before. So you can also work even with other things. Let's say we have products and what, so you want something to say, this is our income category, you put it as income, or these are fruits, this is what. So you can also use that part of grouping and search. Another thing that we also didn't mention was this option of calculated fields. So at times you might want to do something, a calculation within your pivot table. So you just come here, the field, and then select the calculated fields. So from this point, you can input your calculations here that you want. Let's say we didn't have total, so you can come say, our total will be the unit price times the quantity. Let's just say it was supposed to be multiplied by the tax. So you can see it has added something else in that tab. So yeah, it has given a very big number. I think our times was too much, what was supposed to be done. But at least you can see, you can be able to calculate something that was not there. But for this one, it just takes simple calculations, use of plus, minus. It can't take our function. So you can't come and say you want to do, it doesn't take aggregates. So you can't go and say, I want to do average, I want to do this. But if you want to add, multiply, divide something, you can be able to easily do that. Sawa. So those are some things we are not mentioned when it comes to pivots and such. There's the other one for sets. Sets only work now when you have models. So if we get time to do the model, as you have mentioned, we have to link our data sets as they were, and then that one will be able to work in that way. So that one will share at that moment. Am I breaking? Anyone confirm if you can hear me? Am I breaking? April, can you hear me?
Yes, you're breaking at first, but it's now okay.
So you can see my, no, not that one. Give me a minute. I opened the one we were using yesterday. Yeah. So I hope you can see my screen now.
Yes.
So this is where we had reached yesterday. So things happened. For Bio, I am not sure you can be able to add the data models at that point. So unless you either have these pivot tables, this pivot, or you add as external. So that was something that I saw from Mac, from older Mac you can't get, but now with Excel from 2019 all the way, you can be able to get that option that I was mentioning.
So I need to add the Power Pivot.
Yeah, you can either add the Power Pivot or add external data source. You just add your data as external data source. But for the rest, they should be able to have it. If you have any other tables hapa chini, you're able to see them at this point. Hapa hivi, you can also search kuna yenye inatokea that point. Not for all. So for these settings, there's some who can find it there. For others, once you scroll down to the current table that you have, you'll be able to see them at that point. You can see more tables will appear. Once I highlight on a pivot, I can be able to select. Now, so let me just create another sheet. We call it visuals. So I want to, I will just plus. Yeah, so now you are at this point of inserting the chart and such. So we had mentioned earlier we have two types, the ones from the pivot tables. Not from the pivot chart, we have the pivots. From the pivot tables, we have the pivot chart. These ones are interactive, but we also have the other forms, which are more or less the same, just that some become disabled when you come to the pivot side. You will see how some behave once you come on that side. But now you can also find them from the insert. We have a lot of other charts in this option. So you can choose if you want a static chart, the one that is not changing insert, you can use the insert one. But at times you can still use this one in pivot tables, but you have to manipulate. So if maybe you want to achieve something and you know this one cannot be achieved from a pivot chart, but you copy your data from now the pivot, it becomes just a normal table, and then you share. So we'll see if we can be able to get to that point. So this is the last thing that we created. You are just cleaning it. And then this was orders per day. Just that. Okay. So if you are comfortable with it the way it is, you can just leave it the way it is. And then if you want anything to edit, you can come here. Let's say you want to change your colors. You just click on any bar. Yeah, you see, I clicked on a particular bar and then it opened for me the series and such. If I come to this painting part, it gives me the colors that I want. Oh, interesting. No, the colors by point here. So I can choose now to change my color. Let's say I have some brand colors that I want to. We are working for a particular company. What do we want our company colors to be? About the ask, I would say green. So because it was just one that was selected, it will pick it as green. Yeah, so I do for all of them. I do green. So it's fine, they will all change to green if I do that. If I want to vary by color points, I have that option. So yeah, if you want all those rainbows, you can also do that. But that is too much at times. they may not add meaning and such. So always just be conscious of what you want. So this one you can leave it like that if you want. Another way, most of the time, if you are using time and such, you can decide, let me do a line chart. So from this one, if I right click on it, it gives me an option to change my chart time. So I can come and see which one do I want. If I want a line chart, it's the one that looks better for me. I can bring it there and see how the sales were done per month. So if I want to now bring back the y-axis, you can also bring it back to the same class point where we had. And then those are the axis titles. And then remember this one, we have the axis. So if you want to bring it, you bring it back that way. If you want to remove the data labels, you see they are making noise, they are noisy, you can also remove them like that. So you also achieve the same. So depending on what you want to visualize, you can choose any. Another thing is at times you can sort, but maybe for this one, we can just leave it the way it is, the consecutive order, like from Sunday, Monday, and such, and just leave it as that Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. But if you want to sort from the highest to the smallest, you can also sort it. So for this one, we can see that the day that we had the highest order was on Saturday. So for copying it, because we want just to leave our pivots here, we can just do the same, copy, then Control X, bring it to our visuals. We also have an option to rename our chart. So let's go to rename. Just good practice to rename. So we continue to another one. We have another one that has month. Month ni kidogo, there are only 3. What from the graphs that we have talked about, which one would you recommend we use now for months? Someone recommend something we use for the month?
Column looks nice.
Yeah, column is okay. We also said for pi, if you have something less than 6 categories, you can also use columns. You can also use pi, and then avoid the 3Ds. We said avoid 3Ds. You see how it looks? It looks a bit weird, but you can also use a donut. So a donut is just a circle in between, but it's more or less like a pie. So let's try pi so that you also learn how to use the pie. So the same way we have inserted it. We say if you want to hide those buttons, just right click, hide all the field buttons, we hide. Where do you want our legend to be? We have that option also to come here. We have the legend, and then it gives you an option. Do you want it on the right side, on the top, on the left, the bottom, and that's where do you want it to be located? The same thing, if you want to change anything, you can change data type, menu, and right click, then you have options for the pivot chart. So you can also decide to remove it completely. And then you come and put the data labels. You see the option of the data labels. Then you say more options. What do you want to be shown? So you have the very last part, you have the labels option. So it's what do you want to be show the values? Maybe not, but we can do the percentage. At least it gives us something. And then we can have the category name. So you're able to see it as it is. Where do you want it to be? Inside or outside? You can put it wherever, and you can also be able to format it, the colors and such. So once you're able to ensure that whoever is looking at it can just look at it once and see what you are saying, that is okay. Then you can come and say orders, a month, monthly orders. Now remember our colors. We had our company colors. So looks weird now. Yeah, it was selected the entire of it. So I can just highlight on one is selected, and then I can come and say for that one, I want a yellow. For this one, I want a green. And I have not selected the line, I've selected the line itself. So that one has changed the line instead. So change the border. Then also remember about the colorblind people. So don't do so bright colors. Don't do so many colors again. It will distract your people, make so much noise. So depending on the brand that you are working for, you're able to play around your colors. And then we have color palettes. You can go online and see color palettes. It can give you inspiration for colors, especially when you're not just practicing. So you go say you want your main color to be this, and then it gives you good color combination that you can work with. So you're able to get even the hexa codes and such. So you can come and decide, I don't want to put the color as color blue. You can just come here and say more colors, and then you can give the color that you are given from the code that you are working with. That's another way. We have done the pivot. Then we have another one for shifts. Do what? We can do our bar. We say the difference between bar and the column is just the orientation. So for bar, most of the time, you usually use when the names are long. It's the product categories and such, they usually long. So grid lines, once you highlight, you can be able to remove, or you can also remove them from these points. We say just remove anything that makes our data noisy. We need a bit of more space. Then what does it? So you can see, maybe you can leave this axis here if you like it. If you don't like it, like me, you can remove. Then you can click there and come and say, add data labels. You add data labels. Then the same way we had gone to the endpoint here, you can choose where do you want your data labels to be. Not to remove them by some. So are these data labels here again, gives you an option, more options, and then it tells you where do I want my data labels to be. Do I want them to the outside, to the inside, and such. You can be able to place them where you want to be. And in the spirit of our colors, we can do our main color, which was green. And then for this one, at least this one we can order. This one is not very strict like the one for days and whatever. So for this one, we can come here to our data and decide to do our sorting. So how would you like to sort this one? Let's say we want to sort descending. We want to sort from the highest to the smallest. That is usually what makes sense. And then you are sorting with orders per shift. You can see what it did. It gave us the smallest. So for bar graphs, if you want to sort, you do the inverse of what you are thinking. If you want to sort from the highest to the smallest, do the ascending way. So we'll still come back to the same point where we were. And then we say, we are sorting, now ascending, and you're using orders per shift. So at least you see, we get the correct sort. Then we can name it. Then we move it from F, bring it here, just somewhere. We continue to the next one. So we have another beautiful one here. At least at times, once I open the pivot chart, you can see it is giving me some recommended ones. You can see how my bar, the column looks. So it is giving me a column for afternoon, then Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all of them. And then we have an option for the line. You can see how they look. So we have a line for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So you can choose the one you want. doesn't look so good for this one. Let's come back to our data again. We try something different. We see how it will look like. We change how our data looks. We move no time to move. I'm just trying to change the orientation. We see if the graph will give us something different. Yeah, you can see this one is a bit less noisy. So we have a 7 days and at least just 3. We do line, we just have 3 lines. So this one look a bit better. We can also change that. We have the option either of creating a different pivot or even just changing the way the other one was looking like. So you have seen, we also have the option of having multiple lines in just one. So again, here you decide where do you want your label to be, the legend. So you can choose. Do you want when someone looks, the first thing they see is the legend? Do you want it to be in the left, on the bottom? So then you can leave it at the top. I don't love the top, but you can leave it at the top. Then always let's have a chart title. And then again, for the question that we had, you can also choose to have the labels here at this point, just to name them at this point also. You want it that way. So again, we had a question if we had in, was it peak day or peak hour? I think it was peak hour. We have not yet gotten to peak hours. But for days, we can see the day when we had some of the highest sales and the shift. So on Tuesday evening, we had one of the highest. We have another one here. And then also another problem, we want to insert a trend line here. It will just ask me the line that I want to use. So let's do the afternoon one. It's just comparing the afternoon and we see how the trend was going from the first day. This is how we expected our trend to go. So that is something that you can also add. It again, we didn't change our color. It looks a bit different from the other colors. Sometimes the colors can have meaning, especially for companies. Colors usually have meaning and such. And then also colors like red, especially if they're using something negative and positive. So yeah. So I think that is something you can continue personally. You have mentioned where to find them. Okay, so let's mention. Uh, let's say I don't want to use these pivots. I want to use another chart that is in on the other side. So I can just come and copy this one. But now I have to convert it to a table. So I just want it to be referred to this point. So in case I change anything on the other side, it means even this one is going to change. So yeah. So this one is just working in reference to this one. But once I have this will be considered like a table. This will be considered like just another table on its own. And then I can just come here and decide I want to insert a chart from this one. You see the different recommended chart that I'm getting. I have my bars, I have my columns, I have my pie. You see now why we hate pies when they are many. Like for example, you look at this one. What is the difference between all these two portions? They look more or less the same. Does it add any value? No. This is a funnel that is usually very misused for its reasons. Yeah, then you have this combined one. You have a combo chart. Then you can also be able to see all the charts that are there. You can have a trimmer, you can have a sunburst. Histogram can work, not really. Waterfall can also work. But now waterfall, this is not the use of a waterfall. Waterfall is good for changes that are happening over time, but you can be able to use it at this point. So let's see the difference when I just use the one that is in the pivot charts and see what we can be able to insert. And try the tree map. You can see you can create this map using data inside the pivot chart. So you see you can't create a tree map when you're in the pivot chart. A sunburst you can't also create. So some of these in a funnel, in a waterfall, combo you can. So most of the time, let's say you want to do something that you know cannot be supported by pivot. That is a way around it. You just reference your data in another area. So in case anything changes on that side, it will affect this one. So you're not editing anything at this point. Then you can insert any of the other charts that are on the insert side, and it is going to be responsive and interactive as it is. So let's insert one from that side. We can use a bar. We have another bar, but let's just use a bar also. So you can see long names, at least there is also able to be seen. And we have said, yeah, you remember the time we had the option of switching is the one that you wanted to switch. Let's go back to it. Where is it? It was this one where you wanted to switch rows and columns. You also come at the same point, you can switch, it goes to the other, then you can switch it back. So depending on the view you want, even this one you can also switch. And then for this one you mentioned again, if you want to order, we can order. Why is it not ordered? So the user you're sending, then you use it, the orders per product. And it is well sorted. And you can also choose that option of varying by points. So that is also another option of doing it that way. So I hope we are good up to that point. Any question? Are you still here? Am I breaking? Am I alone?
Esther, we are here. I didn't get a good chunk of the first part, but I'll be able to follow through the recordings later.
For today or when?
Yeah, today. I joined, but I couldn't hear so well, so I dropped, then I've just rejoined.
Now you can hear me. What was happening?
I was in a noisy place.
Oh, okay. Haujasort bado?
Nimefika sai.
Okay.
Nimefika sai.
But you've not done a lot. We just did creating a few charts and such. So yeah, just basically that, nothing much. So that one I've used the donuts. Same way again. Our data label, you can choose. Have it in a call out or search. Where do you want to have it? Do we need a legend? No. And then you can bring our colors. Male wanasemanga ni blue. Blue. As a cognate for that other pink color. Okay. Blue. Not going to select my food. So you can see I also have the options again here of what I want to change. Choose what you want to change at that point and such. Again, move it for visuals. This is just for arrangement. At least it ensures our data is clear. It's not a must to move them to another sheet. You can leave them at that point. And then we also have sales. Still the same. Don't need a lot for the sales. There are 3. So for sales, you can choose. You can do a bar. Still here. I think I sent slides for the different visualization now that we have been able to see where they are and how they work. I'm able to go through them. So this one looks a lot. This one does not add any value. Zero. Wow. Same, I can also say 2. The next coincidence and it is working out. No, not working. So this one you mentioned, you can have your data labels at the top, at the center, or where you want them to the same, depending on where you want them to be located. Then if you see our numbers are too many, like this one, they have so many decimal places. You said you can just come here and then you do. While if you set it, you have the option for number format. Then you can choose the number that you want. This is currency. And we were using the accounting because of the spacing. And we can do either 1 dot, 2 zeros and such. Let us remove the symbol so that it doesn't look really too many numbers, too many wording. So you can see how we place it. We added even the comma. If we don't want the comma to be there, sure. Remove it. I think we have created so many. So this is something you can keep practicing as you go on. We have a city. Now imagine you're presenting something to people like this one. This is very long. So you want to give your manager this data and the younger name. You cannot make sense of it. It is too long. That is now where the essence of the charts come. Now see, if you do a clustered chart, It looks very noisy. Doesn't look good. How does our line look? It looks okay. Can we use a pie for this one? If you use a pie for this one, I don't know what you'll be looking for. It will be very, very noisy. So the best for this one, so we said for time series, the best one is line. So the same thing again, move this, move that. So if you don't want these big areas that we are seeing, you can see we have very sharp areas. You can just click on the points and then come to the very bottom. You'll find something called smooth pen line. You can see the difference. Now it's no longer very sharp on the edges. It looks a bit rounded. Yes. So you can have it that way if you want to see how your orders per day were done. So at least with this one, you can be able to see who had the highest orders on each day. I don't know if this button works in Excel because it usually works in Power BI. So in case I come to this one and click on this format painter, if I select it, it will hover over looking like that. And then I'm supposed to be able to apply it to this other one at this point. So mine has not been working for some reason. So I'm not sure if it works in Excel or it only works in Power BI. In Power BI, once you format, you just format one. So everything else that was in that looks the same, you just copy and paste, so it will all take the same as long as they have like the same representation. So for this bus, they will work together. For the ones that have line interactions, that they work together. So that one usually works. So I don't know if it's mine. Someone can tell me if theirs is working. Mine is not working. We have a last one. I think this is our last one for today for a visualization. How it looks. Here's my how it looks. How it looks. Yeah, so let's have it just noisy. So this thing in line graphs. That is replacing to be. So something very interesting you can see. For most around 1900 hours, that is when we usually get some of our highest sales. And you can also see the days that have the highest sales. So Tuesday roughly is one of the days that we have the highest sale. I don't think we had another one for hours alone. That's the one for hours alone. Just to answer that question. And you don't have to always remove here. If I click here again, remove, it will also do the same and remove it. So when you click on the pivot point, then you can come and pivot analyze and do my inserts, do my line again. We had it at some point, somebody will go then. So you can see again, our 7 p.m. is one of the hours that we have the highest sale. Not sure where I've seen it. We had it. We have it. I just put it. used before. What? One last one. And I will do. Yeah, I'm always doing one last thing.
Esther, that last chat is not too crowded.
Which one?
The last one you've done, that one.
It's not too crowded.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's why I didn't put it. You say I didn't bring it to the other side. I left it here.
I'm just trying to imagine in terms of you presenting this to whoever it is you're presenting to. Does it look inviting or attractive? I
Of
feel like
course
it's
not.
yeah.
It looks very nice. That's why I didn't move it. You see, I moved every other side, but for that particular one, I left it on this side. Because now, instead of you having come into a like, so which is where what is moved, had the hours. And I hope you can still hear me.
Yeah. You're breaking, but yes.
You can hear me?
Yeah. Yes, we can.
Another notification here. I always say talk to me. Otherwise, I'll be talking to myself and I have been dropped from the call. Can someone give me an idea of something that we can visualize like in two categories from this data, the one that you are working with? Something that you guys worked on and you can be able to put in together. You can still hear me? Hello?
Yes, Esther, we can hear.
Okay. So again, let me just lower the decimals that we have. Two is okay, one is okay. So you can see if we do it as a combo, how weird it will look, because now our axes are different. Let's just insert it and see what we can able to do with it. Then again, we have the option of either right clicking. You can also switch again the rows and the columns at this point. So it moved, the average ratings can do and such. So that was in the switching option. And then we also have an option of changing our types. I didn't want this one. There's another option. Into it now. Right here. Yeah. Once I selected on that one, I have an option called change series chart type. So once I click on that, you can see I'm either told have one on the secondary axis. So you see I have an axis that has no the other ones on this other side. So it converts it to a stacked bar, or I also have another option of changing the series to align. You can see now I have been able to form a combo chart. So I can see how people were able to rate on different days. So that is also another way of putting a combo. Or I can come here again and say, I want to insert and then insert my combo. So the same, we appear to the same screen and then we're able to change and we get the same thing again. So that those are some ways when you want to work with data that is in combination. And then some other beautiful things that I usually love to work with, it's something like target. And come here, do something like a target. Then you still want to make something like our target. This one you don't have to do, it's just something that I usually love. So we want our target to be this one will be bad. So is this function called subtotal. I know we didn't do it. And we were doing the other function. We said you can't finish functions. So we have these other functions that we usually do, the count, the average, and such. So for subtotal, what it does, in case you filter out your data, it's still going to do the same calculation that you wanted to do. If I put average and then I filter my data, you will notice that it will have a discrepancy because as you see mean, it adds our values, then divides by the number of the items we have. So when you have filtered it out, it still counts those items and now it will be like 0. So you'll find our mean may change a lot. But when you're using something like subtotal and we filter something, they will not be included in our calculation. So that will make at least our values remain a bit good. Let us now just use average here. Right now, because everything is included, it looks a bit very okay. So this is our pivot. Remember, our data comes from that pivot. So let's say we insert a slicer and you want to insert a slicer for, let's just do the products, the one that we have still okay. It is working very well. They look more or less the same. I think we still find it somewhere at some point. We'll get the difference, but for now it looks like they are working the same. So that's okay. For today, that's okay. This ones we're not using now, we'll use later. So,
Esther, what did you do with the subtotal?
the subtotal, it takes one function. So from it, it has a few options of the normal functions that we usually know. So once you open it, you can see the list of the functions that are available. This average is the same as this average that is here. This count is the same as this count, the normal count that you are using. But these other new ones, 101s and such, are the ones that we are saying, in case you filter out data, it's not going to be affected. It's going to just include the values that you want. The old filter, the old values that we usually use, they don't consider that. They consider all the values that were included in our initial table. So in case something is filtered out, it will still be there. So,
So Esther, thank you.
right. So, yeah, we want to do now for people for the products that reached our target. Target met and target not. So again, you can still use our beautiful if function. We say if this one is greater than or equal to this one, then should return our. If not, it tells us not lazy to blank. So you can see the way it was able to pick. Then for this one also the same. If is less than yes. So you can see for the ones the target did not meet, so now I said your target not met. And for these ones where the target was met, they come on this other side. And then our target will just be here. We lock this one. We lock it out. So we again assume. And because this one is not a pivot table, we can be able to format it. Yeah. And this one's format. Yeah, we have something like that. Then we can come to our inserts, then we can insert and just to have this one, we have this one. So for this one, we didn't do bar, we didn't do stacks. Let's do something stacks. Let's see how it looks. So it is giving us with our different series. It should give us at least a good name of what we are doing, so that once I want to remove something, it's not just series one, series two, series three. So this fourth one looks like the target. It looks like what you want to target. If you look at it, looks like now it's the target point here. It's selecting the target. So you can choose to change our series type for that particular one. It was the first one. And then you can say let it be a line. And then the secondary axis. Does it look like we have it that way? And then pattern. So yeah, at least now you can see how it is colored. For the ones they didn't reach our target, they have the gray color. For the ones that reach the target, they have the yellow color, the orange color, and then you have this other one. So at least with that one, you have you can still hear me?
Your voice is breaking, Esther.
Hello?
Yeah, your voice is breaking.
How bad?
Now, okay.
Okay, give me 2 minutes, just 2 minutes. I sort it out. Let me sort it out once and for all. Just give me 2 minutes. So I hope that will be able to hold for now. Okay. You can even remove the series if you don't want people to see it. So in case anything changes, you'll just notice our data keeps changing. Maybe I change? Yeah. Just remain like that. So you can also choose to have this one here or in the bars. So that is another way of visualizing the target. This one was not part of whatever you can do, but you can see, you can apply many things in this. If you are asked, your immediate supervisor wants to know how many people are able to achieve a target, you can be able to show very easily that. So yeah, once you're done with all those things, we still have other things that you need to show. Maybe someone just wants to see who ordered what in a category of in the days, either by products or even by gender. So that is where we said we insert the slicer.
I think you're
Slicer.
still breaking. Hello? Hello, I think you're still breaking. You can hear me.
So this
You're still breaking almost completely.
Sorry, I was dropped one last time. I think that is the last time. Someone was asking something before I dropped when I was putting the slices. I had my own. And if there's no question, you can now move to the next thing. Once you're done with your visualization, one other thing that data analysts usually do is now being able just to have a dashboard. So you can continue doing other visualization as you wish. It's good to practice the rest that we didn't put. So you can come just choose an area that you want to put our data. Then you can come here and remove our grid lines in the view. So you just want it to be just a blank slate like that. Then you can decide to come and insert. You have so many things. You can insert shapes from this point, whichever shape you want. Then I'll prepare like your title. Just trying to do something basic. So if you're good with design, you can make a good wireframe. Then you can call our Minimat, Megamat. Have several cities and branches. Let's say that's the name of our branch. So this one you can customize as you want. If you want to remove the background, if you want to change something, this one move to the back. You can see how the shape formats. Do you want to bring it to the front? If you bring it forward, you see it hides a text, so the text goes behind, move it behind like that. So that's when you have the option of bringing the way you want. So this to as good as you want. You can see I have removed the color, so it is white. You can also have it as black, depending on the color you want. We have all those options to change it. And then let's say we have a logo. Did I have any logo? No, I don't have any logo. Okay, so button one. You can come again at our inserts, and then you have an option of inserting pictures. Oh no. Yeah, so you have that option of bringing in your pictures. So mine is just bringing them as many, very main. So if you have a company logo, you're able to also bring it in and paste it in where you want. If you simply paste. So that is one way of inserting. Then after that, you're able now to give your title, however you want to format it, you format it. Then now you start bringing our visuals. So it's always best to start with KPIs. Our eyes usually see things from left to right. Is it true? Where do you first read? You read on this side as you go this way. So always ensure your most important data is toward the left side. So this is where we keep our KPIs. And what are KPIs? As you saw from your assignment, we have something called the KPIs. These are the key performance indexes or the key performance indicators. So these are some metrics that you can use to show our success. So for example, how many orders are we selling? How much income have we made? How are people rating us and such? Those are some of the important KPIs that we have. So how do you come place them there? We just come here again. We go back to our cell. These ones we didn't have them in our visuals, they were in the pivot. Then we're going to choose just one, we select. Let's see if that one is going to work. Yeah, so it has brought it at that point. So we can say that is our KPI for that. But most of the time you can just place it in a text box. Go to that, get your text box. Let's try and set over it here. It hides. Then you go to the shape format. You want to take it to the back. Still not visible. We have the text field. No field. Still not visible. Why not visible? Just here. Needs to refer to a pivot, refer to this one. So normally that is the error that you expect to get once you're putting it on a text box. It's supposed to give us such an error. You tell us it cannot recognize it. So just what you do, you come and refer the same cell again in a different cell like that. So it's just reading the same value. And you can ensure you've just formatted it because you see this one now lost the formatting. So this is the formatting that we were using. Currency dollar accounting. It's the one that we were using. So when you come out to your dashboard, you'll just come and refer to the one that it's referenced. So you can see it's referring to it very well. So you can be able now to come and highlight this one and make it look like a good KPI. I don't know why today I selected him. So you usually see something like this in your data. Big numbers at the beginning. You can also remove the zeros from that point again. And you're able to visualize it. When it is generate, looks just a normal number, so it might be confusing to someone who does not know what we are doing. So you can just bring it back again to currency. So because now this one is something you're playing around with, you can be able even to just continue increasing your length to a point that you're comfortable with it. And then now I consumed a lot of space here. I reduce the space. Move this one again also inside. So this one depends on how good your designing skills and whatever they are, or how the format of your company is. So that goes that way. Then you can insert another shape even at this point. So this is where I was saying I don't know why my formatting paint is not working, because now you are just able to format this one set it right, and then just use it for the rest. And just copy it and so we want it as black. And then, okay, so I just need something also again. Center it. And here we come insert again our text box. Yep. Right. That one is done. So at least we'd have had a space between each title and whatever we are doing. There, open a space kidogo. And that one is also doable. That one you can move along as you wish. Then you can come, see, V, bring it to this side. So depending on the number of KPIs that you have. And what else did we have as a KPI? Our total orders. So if the numbers, the font is Kadogo, you also go again, do the same. Add whatever you need, the wordings and such, you can be able to add them. And then as we did to the previous one, we came and referenced our orders. So then double click, this is equals to our reference point. How much was this? These are not working today. 28. Also center it, center it. So you can also make it even bigger than that. And then we had our average rating. So we come insert again. More text box. So rating the same way, we had done the same. Let's it first. Then you can be able to come and reference it something. Let's press insert our text. Okay. Let's do. Okay. it when it was centered. So yeah, so those are some of our KPIs. If you want to do more colors, you can also do more colors, and then we can have a little space for our filters at this point. So you'll usually find there are people who will even put images at this point now. Hapa kwa income, they have something like a money bag. Here they have something showing orders. Here they have something like rating. Let's do something hapa kwa rating kidogo. So that one beautify as much as you want. So for rating, you can come and do something like, there's another function called repeats. Good. So let's this is the one that we reference. This one is, so we can do, let's do this one to be a whole number. Okay. So we have a repeat function. So repeat just tells you what do you want to repeat. So now we want to have stars. If you want to put stars, you have even option of putting emojis in your Windows function for the ones who have Windows. Mtu wa Mac, please, you will tell me where we'll find this one. We have the Windows function and then 2 dots. You're able to open this window. Windows function and then the 2 dots, you're able to open the option of emojis, all these other things that you want. So if you want to put something, you can be able to just choose something of your liking that you want to be repeated or to be visualized. So reason if tunataka to visualize pale, we can be able to even put this one pale for the diagram, be able to put them. So, but for this one, we just want to repeat our star. And how many times do you want to repeat it? So the one shown in that way. Gives us 5. So we can also bring it again. We add another one again. Yeah, so you can see that those are the number of, that is how our rating was. So you can put it that way. Then once you have that, now you can start bringing in our visuals. So starting the most important ones, the ones that you feel are adding values to our data. Now you can see now the importance of having a good color scheme. You can see now my colors are starting to crash now, so it becomes difficult, becomes really noisy. So with this, you're able now to decide. So initially, as I said, you're working with brand, or also check color palettes for options of colors that you might want to use. You can reduce the width at least so that you're able to fit several in one. What else did we have that was small? We have these branches. Not so big. And reduce it to go it's in so that we don't create very many layers. What if you want to be in the first layer? We have our monthly orders. And then our dashboard. So always remember you're putting them in order from left to right, because eyes will always see left to right, then top to bottom. So always remember whatever you're putting and the point you're putting it, how important it is. And then also remember the size of your canvas. This one we just picked manually, but normally you have a size of a canvas of what you want to do, of the size of what you want to visualize. So you're able to use that. in our sheet. As we had another one that had something beautiful, so we can bring this one. Have it that way. And then we can have our hourly sales. Usually a notion that 6 graphs should be enough for a dashboard, otherwise you're being too noisy. Yeah, but that depends on you and what you want. And also, another thing, always check for inspiration also on Pinterest and such, and look for a dashboard that has something that you want to visualize and show. And then from there, you're able to try, simulate it, copy it, and bring it to life. So that is also another way of creating beautiful dashboards. For this one, we're just trying to create something simple. And then, so in case you don't want those grid lines, as you can see, there are some 2 lines that are showing. You can come to our borders and say we don't want any borders. So it will just look like everything is just continuous. I was hoping that Kanini would work, the formatting. So you just click it once and it removes everything. So if you don't want the borders, you can remove them like that. If you see like it's becoming too plain, you can take them back and at least it adds something to your visuals. There was a bit of oomph when they were there. So yeah, you can bring them back, but you can also leave it like this if you want to leave it as plain as mine. So from this point, this is where I was saying, now you can also add the image. You do the dots, and then do you have emojis of mine? Yeah, and add an emoji, or you can add a full diagram. A good emoji that can be put here is nothing that I know. Okay, yeah. So you have a diagram also. We have stock and such. You can be able to get small diagrams that you can be able to put. I just shown an example of what you can put. So that is one way of putting. We are together. Are we together? People, can you hear me? Am I breathing?
I can hear you.
This week you have decided I will be talking to myself, but it's okay. So now from here, we can bring in our filters that we want. So we had a space left here. We can put our filters there. And then we can also format our filters as we want. Our slicers, so yeah, they are filters, but they work, they are called slicers in Excel. So you can see we have another window that has appeared here called a slicer. So you can choose how many do you want to show at a go and what length do you want. If you want to have very many slicers like that one, you can just put it that way. What are our main colors? So you can choose what our slicer style will be. There are several options. We have dark options, and I would prefer the dark that is clean, like that, or black. Do you have a black one? It's a black one. Yeah, so you can choose. It's not as flexible as in Power BI, but at least it works. So let's see what we do if we use our slicer. You can see there's just one thing that changed. And just changed one thing, nothing else changed. But ideally, we want our slicer to affect everything that we have shown. So that is why we come and report our connection. So you come, again, here you have something called report connections. And oh, it has opened. So remember why we were saying, always remember to rename your pivots. You see, now we know which pivot we can use. Do you want it to compare the branch? Yes. We're using branch now. We don't want it to filter the branch because it's like filtering itself. And filter the orders, filter that one. So for this one that we don't have a name, we may not be sure what we are filtering. So we can avoid that one that we don't know what it is filtering. Then, okay. So if we want to filter again now, you can see the differences. You can see that our gross income for branch A was this, and this was our total rating for that branch. And we can already see some few issues with our numbers. Next, remember I said you come to value field 13, number format, using just number, and then, and where is it? The one. Yeah. Too big, too big, too big, too big again. Well, our numbers are good, so I don't know where it is getting that very big one. Well, okay. One can try to figure it out why. So you can see for branch A, we had 340 orders. But one thing you can notice, this one did not change. So whether we are selecting whichever branch, everything else will change, but this particular one will not change. Are our stars getting correct? Yes. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Doing 6. Because it just rounded down. When you go to 7, it goes to 7. So everything we can be able to see how our filter is working. If you want to clear the filter, you just clear that point and you bring back everything that we had. So let's bring in another filter. Where was it? We were in the class private. So that is the question where we were being asked to interactively show something. That is basically it. So you are just to add a slicer to the question. So bring our filter again at this point. Try, if it's possible, try to avoid whatever you had seen before. There's something you had seen. This scrolling, avoid people scrolling, especially in your filter. Because now I'll become tired of filtering and I'll just use whatever I can see. So you can choose like that, or you can choose to have a 3. So see, 3 becomes quite big. So 2 is okay. Now. So that is the farthest it can go. Again, the same thing, format it. Yeah, then remember to always report your connection, because for now, if we work with it, you can see like the first one that we had, it's just affecting the product. The reason it's affecting the products, because when you remember when you were creating it, we used the products table to create the slicers. So that's why it's just affecting that one. So and this is city, so we don't want it to affect it a lot. Now let's affect it and see what would happen. Do you have anything that has a city? I don't think we pulled something for the city. So for all the pivot tables that we had names, you can put it there. Them again. Quite repetitive, but yeah. So I can be able to do the same again and see. I can see my income for this city, and you can see now it changed. I think that branch is in that city. Yeah, seemingly. Seems the branches are like in the cities. Yeah, you can see it is affecting, and every other figure is changing. So if you don't want this one to be affected also, you can also take it back to the way it was, because it seems everything was in one. And I can't see these lower ones, and the table is not scrolling. That's why it is also very important to ensure that the view that you have is fitting everything that you need, so that you don't have to keep scrolling and seeing the ones that are below. So right now you can see I'm struggling to see these ones here below, because my table is not scrolling very well, so I'm not able to see them. So ensure you have a view that you can be able to see. So that's basically it. So this one you can keep formatting the way you want, answer the questions that you have or that you intend to work for. What else do you have? And okay, that one is not being sent. I'm not really getting it. We also forgot this one, which was also a good one for our daily sheet. But at least if we have one that had sheets, that one will be used. So that's why we are saying always ensure whatever you have, something that answers the question that you really want to show. So when you're using,
So why is it-
pardon?
sorry, what is it that you can't see the items that are below?
I don't know why mine is
What's
not
going
scrolling. Yeah. Oh, it's now scrolling. Okay. It was not just feeling
on?
like scrolling.
Okay.
That time I was just trying to scroll and then it was refusing. Now it is working. You can see even the one that we created in the other haphazard way is also being affected. At least you can be able to see how our sales were going for each. So again, it has refused. I don't know. It's just my machine's preference of not being seen, not something. You can also bring this one for days. So just ensure the way you fit them here is in a way that people are able to see. And then considering the space that you have, if you want to have your days of the week around here, so you can also do the same report connection anymore. So this one we don't really need it. I don't think we really need the city, because we saw the branches and the cities look more or less the same. So you can remove one of them. That was my conclusion, because when you are filtering one, we're just getting the other. So if we remove one, we can safely use something else for that space. Then you have the slicer settings. How do you want it to be shown? You can decide how you want it to be shown. Do you want it to display a header? So everyone knows these only days of the week. Is there anybody who can get confused really? By seeing that, everybody knows that it is the day of the week, so you can remove the title and it remains like that. And then so again, just for uniformity, then remember to always report your connection so that it affects everything that we have. So you remember our messy chart, the lines that we had so many, they were for days and the shifts. You remember it? There's one that was quite messy that had so many lines that we left on the other side. So with a filter, we are still able to achieve the same. So we have something called hours hapa chini, hourly sales. And now it will not scroll. So because it's not scrolling, I just bring it up here where you can see. So remember we had one that had 7 lines for all these hours. So if we do this, it did not affect the hourly sale for some reason. Which chart was this one? So you can see it is affecting even the ones that are here. So this one is just showing for Sunday, just filtered for Sunday alone. Yeah, even this one for orders per day, it's filtering for Sundays. So this one, I think I didn't pick it when. I think when I remove the title, it went with the option of selecting everything. So of filtering. So I think I've named everything, unless it's one of these either, because we have renamed almost every, and almost all of them are selected. So that is usually a way of either now for debugging to be able to see which one was being affected. Yeah, you can see it was one of the ones that we didn't name. So you can see when you were in Sunday, you can see the hour that things were sold mostly. When you come to Monday, you see the hour that we had the peak hours and such. Yeah, so you can be able to filter through. On the day for that filter part. So yeah, basically that is it. So you learn how to move around with it, add as many slices that you want, and then from your GitHub, now you have the chance of sharing your data, your cleaned data that you were able to clean. And then after sharing your data that you cleaned, you also have this, you can just screenshot this once it is now well cleaned, well looking, just take a view of it. With the entire of it, you just take a screenshot of it. Now you have your images, you have your what, just have a screenshot of it, and then you can be able to share it on either GitHub, on LinkedIn, exactly. Look for inspirations. Wherever you want to find an inspiration, they are always there. Be it on Pinterest, be it where, you'll always find something. Let's look for something in Pinterest and see what we can find. If you have a question on that side, you can mention. You can ask a question on the visualization that you have done. So sales, you can say sales does. So you can see a few examples of something you can try to recreate. This one is we love simple ones. This one that has KPIs. Yeah, so we have this one. You can be able to come and say, I want to create something that looks close to this. So you're able to try to recreate that. Also check LinkedIn. We have something like Onyx Data. They usually have monthly data challenges where they give data, so you're able to see what people are visualizing, how they're trying to think through the problem. Also try to play around with it. You can sign up and do the next one for next month, starting on 1st, of course. Try to do as simple as it. So it's just continuous practice and practice. So you find you're continuing improving and showing. And also it depends with your role and what you want to achieve. Sawa sawa. Do we have any questions for the visualizations? Are we okay now with visualization? With index match dashboards, we can continue practicing. So just give an example of how you move from one side to the other. So, yes. I floor open for questions. They went. Yeah, practicing, yes. And that means from the data that we did, that should be one thing you noticed yesterday, I didn't give any assignment for this week. So yes, that is why I didn't give it, because we were to do the visualization yesterday and then life happened. So that should be what we are supposed to do from the group works that we did. Now we can be able to create a simple dashboard. Let us create a simple dashboard that will be assignment for this week. Ensure we're able to submit it. Now you have seen where the other issues were when you were told to do something interactive, what a KPI means and such. So basically that is it. For now, if there is no question, I can see most people have dropped. We can do Power Query tomorrow. Once we move from Power Query, we now do the whole connection from Power Query. We clean another data set from Power Query, everything in Power Query, then come and do another visualization. We'll use a different data set and do another visualization and see. That is it from my end.
Okay,
Thank
we
you,
can
Esther.
stop
We
recording.
just need to. Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
Pardon?
I was
Yeah, you
saying
can stop the
thank you. We just need to practice and just do more from our end, as Christine has said.
Yeah, for visualization and dashboard, that's what I'm saying. It depends with your creativity and your eye. So we can stop the recording. I think we're done. Then the recording.